Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Good fucking morning! Oh my God. Look, first of all, I hope you're all having a great start to your day. We're very excited to be here again doing another show for all of you. The excitement really has nothing to do with what happened yesterday. Obviously, the Lions schedule came out. We'll get to that, and it's going to be a great show. We'll take callers, stuff. But I'm just, sometimes in life, guys, you got to enjoy the little moments you get. You just enjoy them. Excited. Nothing lasts forever. So enjoy it while you have it. Don't take it for granted. That's the positive reinforcement message you're all going to get from me this morning. But Jeff, good morning. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. Did anybody else see the shot the Chargers took at the Lions last night? It was pretty funny, actually.
I thought it was excellent.
The schedule release. The Chargers social media team, they're
hands down the best in the league.
No
100%.
Doubt. They do a great job. But hey, the schedule's released. I can't wait to get into it. I took time before the show and last night to go through the schedule. It was tough because we do this every year. And last year we were pretty close. I had 8 wins.
A game off.
You had 7 or 8.
A game off. Yep.
So we both had 8
and
9. So this year I can't wait. This is where it all starts.
Okay, look. There's a lot of action today. Obviously, probably the first hour and a half, just get ready. It's going to be schedule, callers, your thoughts on the season, your thoughts on the win total. We'll get to all of it. But we're going to start off with, in my opinion, I think we have to have this conversation before we go any further, okay? Detroit, let's be realistic here, okay? Let's get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Had I told you were opening up the season last year, against the Kansas City Chiefs, you would have been like, damn, that's unlucky. I think this year you're looking forward to it. You're optimistic. You're at least expecting your team to compete. You think you actually have a chance. And I don't think you're crazy. Granted, Andy Reid hasn't lost a game since 2015 on the home opener, or season opener, but hey, we'll look past that for a second. I think things are really changing. The dynamic, the belief, it's never been higher, in my opinion. It's at an all-time level. Mm-hmm. You look at this Lions team. Guys, please, you can call in today. You can leave comments in the chat. Hell, you can send me letters in the mail. Just tell me interrupt me if I'm being crazy here. But can we just look at the Lions and forget that any of you are Lions fans for a minute? Do you not look at that football team and say, that's a good football team? They got weapons. They got a really good offensive line. Defensive line is probably going to be a lot better than it was last year. Oh, they upgraded their secondary with free agents that any team would love to have.
Complete makeover.
What are we looking at? Am I looking at something am I missing something? Are they not a good football team?
No, they are.
Because they fucking look like one.
Yeah.
And I think you should treat them as such.
And that's how they should be treated. I think game 1, although it is the Chiefs, it is the Super Bowl champions, this is what you want. It's a good test, number 1. Number 2, you get to face, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We know their record. You brought it up, undefeated in home openers since, 2015?
Season openers, I apologize.
Season openers,
yep.
Excuse me. But it is at home as well in Arrowhead. But here's the other kicker. At least it's a positive thing you're getting the Chiefs week 1. I keep saying that because personally, the healthiest your team's going to be, at least you can try and catch them off guard. But it is a good measuring stick. You look through the schedule, too. And I know there were some leaks that came out, and I didn't look at any of the leaks because I wanted the official schedule. The first 2 games, Chiefs, Seahawks, at least the Seahawks are at home, and we know how last year's game went. Even after that, you got the Falcons and Packers. It's not the hardest schedule, I guess, at first. The first 2 games are tough, but in general, without J-Mo, this ain't too bad. Falcons, Packers, Panthers, Buccaneers. That ain't too bad. The first 2 games, though.
If you're going to miss what you expect to be your outstanding wide receiver for 6 games, that you couldn't have asked for a better schedule,
right?
Especially the weeks that you do play them. Having said that, before we even get to the schedule, I really want to acknowledge this. We have to say these things out loud before you call in and tell me 10, 11, 12 wins. We have to say this out loud before you call in and say, oh, the same old Lions, they're not going to deliver, they're going to disappoint again. We have to talk about this. This is a good football team. This isn't the media are jumping on the train. This isn't you're being sold really an 8-win team, and because you're fans, you think they can win 3 more. No. This is a really good football team. Like 4-2 in the division will be disappointing this year. That's how good of a football team it is. Mm-hmm. It's a good roster. It's an improving roster. Still young, but my goodness, they got better. And I'm not even including the draft. The draft is like secondary in my mind right now.
Right.
This roster, you look across the board, is not only good enough to win the division, it's good enough to really push some of the better teams in the NFL. I'm not saying you're going to be able to beat Kansas City 4 out of 5 times. I'm not saying you're there yet where you can go toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow and the Bengals 4 out of 5. No. But man, you're close. And you're in a position a lot of teams would rather be in and wish to be in, given how you've built your team. It's all been through the draft. That's just this past offseason. You've addressed free agency really for the first time. You got a good football team. I know we'll get to the schedule, home games, away games, when they're scheduled, when they're not, unlucky schedule, prime time here, prime time there. You got a Monday nighter against the Raiders. I know. But can we just, before we do any of this, you got a football team. Mm-hmm. It's a real football team. Am I fucking crazy?
No, you're not. And I know even people say, because you compare it to last year and every year's different, you went 9-8 with that schedule as those teams were constructed. But even this season, you tend to, every team technically tries to get better. So you can't say the Lions got significantly better. Well, a lot of these teams got significantly better. But what's the gap between the Lions and those teams, respective teams? And it's funny going through this schedule like I did last night, and you actually think in your head as you're going through it, Lions are better than this team, Lions are better than this team, at least on paper, which you couldn't do that last year. You went through the schedule, and even we picked 8 wins. I think mutually everybody would agree, if you're listening or watching, or people on Twitter that I've seen, I haven't seen anybody without double-digit wins. So the expectations are clearly, they've risen. But going through the schedule, the Lions are better than a lot of these teams on paper. But it's up to them to go prove it.
Yeah, I really just want to be the voice this morning that says, hey, guys, it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
For year one, our first year doing the show, I guess it wasn't our first year, but, we were months, not even a month into the first show. We had to hear 10-win train. You guys are 10-win limousine, joint bell. We all remember this, right?
Right.
Cool. And it was kind of like, all right, whatever. Like you and me just went over it last year. 7 wins was the floor, 9 was the ceiling. They hit 9 right on the dot. You predicted 8 and 9. I predicted, I think, 7 and 10. So not too far off, but it is what it is. And we're here to tell you this year, guys. Your floor is 10. Your floor is 10. We'll get to the schedule in 6 minutes. Your floor is 10. I think your ceiling is 12.
And this is what I see a lot too. Ryan on WoodwardSports.com says when other teams see Lions on their schedule, they expect to win. Just saying, but here's the difference.
Yeah, I think you're really you're looking at history more than the football team.
There you go.
I think if you go through the Lions schedule, I think if you look at the football team, week 1 and 2 are going to be very difficult. Whether or not you go 1-1, that's not the point.
Right.
But you look at Atlanta, tricky game. You look at any division rival, it'll always be tricky. It's a division rival. It's an intense game. But you're the Lions. You have the best roster in the division right now. You should go 5-1. And to me, that's like the worst case scenario. 4-2, I would be shocked if they lost 2 games. I think this team is miles ahead of anybody in the division right now. You get Tampa on your schedule. You get Carolina. I don't think everybody in Tampa Bay and Carolina are sitting there saying, oh, we got the Lions. They're like, oh, shit. Well, they can drop 30 on us easy. That's not fun.
Right.
God help our rookie quarterback.
Even going, just bring up quarterback play. And I know we're going to get into the schedule, but that's the biggest thing I took away, too, because besides the Chiefs,
it's a very
Chargers,
friendly schedule for quarterbacks. It is not.
Chiefs, Chargers, okay, I'll give you Herbert, but even then, you talk about Geno, Desmond Ritter, Jordan Love, Bryce
Young. You got maybe
Young,
3 elite quarterbacks
Baker Mayfield
that you're playing.
Yes.
Elite max.
You're going to have the better quarterback in 75, 80% of these games. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, even down the stretch, you got Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson. We'll see with Sean Payton. I think he'll do a good job over in Denver. But still, we don't know anything about Jordan Love. We don't know anything about Justin Fields. At least you have a proven commodity.
Okay.
In Jared Goff. So you have that advantage. And this comment right here, WoodwardSports.com, that's not true, Jeff. We are now the hunted. See, there's a difference. You can be the hunted, but to say you look at the Lions.
If you're the hunted, you know what that means?
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. That means you are one of the teams that people are looking at like, oh, man, we got to be like them. The problem is I don't think you're there yet. I don't think you can call yourself the hunted. You haven't even made the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Seriously. No. And this isn't me being a negative Nancy here. You haven't made the fucking playoffs.
It's
you know who the hunted are?
Yeah.
It's the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Niners.
Yeah.
Hell, even the Cowboys to an extent. Those are the hunted.
I think the Lions are the hunted, I guess, in media hype. Like, you want to go beat the Lions. But
I
not
think there's a lot of
anything
expectation.
Yes.
Rightfully so. So, well, you know what? We'll take a break in just a minute. We'll get to the schedule. We'll go week by week. We'll start taking callers at 8:45. 313-552-6322 is the number. Look, guys, you're going to hear this a lot for the next few months. Don't change your mind. Don't let anybody convince you. If you hold anything I or Jeff say with any weight, which I think a lot of you do, don't fall into the trap of the Lions are going to disappoint. Or the Lions, I'm not a fortune teller. I just know what good football teams look like. Year 1, they weren't a good football team. Year 2, they were really bad in the beginning and really good at the end, really Jekyll and Hyde, which means in reality they were just always average and they could never play consistent enough. This year, they're a good enough football team to consistently put out a good enough product to, at worst, win 10 games, in my opinion. And 12 at the most, but we'll get to the record predictions later on in the show and what exactly we think is going to happen. We'll take a break. When we get back, the Lions schedule was released. We'll go week by week, Jeff and I, and we'll start having fun along with JB and Broder. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, and right now they have an exclusive offer for Woodward sports fans for their limited edition Red Wings 6-pack. Only $15 plus free shipping. Head to drinkcintron.com/Woodward and try it today. That's drinkcintron.com/Woodward.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Cintron in your life. Okay. There it is. Cintron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Cintron World, baby. Cintron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CintronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live. WoodwardSports.com as always. Adham, Beydoun, Jeff, Iafrate. Thank you to everybody joining us this morning. If you're missing the show live, you can always download the podcast after the fact. Leave it a 5-star review. Well, because Jeff has a swag on this morning. No chain?
I do. I always have
Italian
the medallion.
chain.
I always need it.
I can always rely
But I do have the Woodward Sports Network Tigers shirt. You can get on.
I don't love that part, but I love the rest. Good for you.
I did it on Friday because it's only day, and then we go to the weekend, so you don't have to.
All right,
you won't hunt me down after.
Look, you know what? By the way, before I get to the schedule, just give me 30 seconds here. There is somebody who works at the network. It's his last day today, so I just want to give him a ton of love, credit, and appreciation. His name's Fletcher Harold. For those of you that watch Ermanni and Edwards, he's their technical director, assistant producer. The guy is a freaking hero.
He is.
Does everything. He's so involved with the show, helps around the company as well with a million other things. We're going to miss him so much. Excellent dude, and whoever's hiring him is going to be super, super lucky with what they're getting next.
Yeah, I think people see what they see on Woodward Sports when they're watching, but not a lot of people know what happens behind the scenes. And Fletcher's one of those guys, man. He puts in work, and you can always rely on him. So shout out to Fletcher. I'm going to miss him. Dude,
oh, yeah. Don't let my awful takes discredit how great everybody in the back is. Oh, God. All right. Lions schedule released. You got 3 Thursday night games. You got a Monday night football game. 0 primetime games last year. 4 this year, tied for third most around the league. There are a handful of teams that have 5, and I think only 2 that have 6 or 3. But that's not the point. Let's talk about the Lions. They open up in Kansas City. We touched on this yesterday. Jeff, how would you like to do this? Would you like to go week by week, or would you like to kind of go in quarters here?
Well, you had something interesting. I don't know if you want to bring up now. The first 4 games.
Yeah.
Different possibilities. If you want to run through
I mean,
that.
we can start there. You know what? Let's do it then. So look, guys, you open up in Arrowhead. You return home to Ford Field to host the Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons, and then you're on the road in Green Bay. Mm-hmm. Now look, what I just tell you, you're a good football team. You're playing some good football teams, and I think you're playing some not ideal situations. All right, in Kansas City, the season opener, Andy Reid and Mahomes don't lose. Okay, do I think because you have Ben Johnson and the offense that you can display out in Arrowhead, do I think you have a chance? I actually do, but that's not the easiest start. And then you come home and you play Seattle, and you can call it the revenge game. You can call it what it is. Seattle's a good football team. They got a lot better too.
Yeah, they did.
I know we all really like Jared Goff a lot more than Geno Smith, but that's the gap we think it's at. And I would say some respected media members think it's a lot closer than what we believe. I would disagree, but I'll give them that. Whatever, they can have their opinion. It's no problem. But Seattle's going to be a tough game. That's a good football team. It's a Pete Carroll coach football team. And then you have Atlanta. And as much as it is easy for us to say they should beat Atlanta's a tricky team. I'm not saying they will beat the Lions, but they can. And that's not the any given Sunday here. This is an Arthur Smith coach team that they just win weird games. They have a good offense. The defense got a lot better. They added Jesse Bates. Well, Atlanta, if you don't show up, will cause you problems. And then you're on the road in Lambeau, which is always tricky. I mean, let's be honest, guys. I know we expect to beat Green Bay twice, Chicago twice, and maybe split with Minnesota. But hear me out. In Lambeau, it's always a tough task. Mm-hmm. It's always a tough task at hand. That's a game you got to be up for. It's going to be physical. It's a divisional game. It'll be early on in the year where Green Bay, maybe they have hope. Who knows? Who knows? Do I think you should win? Yes. But my point is, after that, you get Carolina, and I think that's the one game of the 5 you just sit there and say, yeah, it's a win. You're not losing to Carolina again. That's the real revenge game. Well, that's the game that cost you from getting to the playoffs last year.
Speaking of how you lost to Carolina, that's what worries me about the Falcons. Like, you bring up a great point. What do the Falcons want to do this year?
They're going to run the ball.
And what did the Lions fail to do last year? Stop the run.
Yep.
Until a stretch of games last season, but they still gave up over 300 to the Carolina Panthers. That's a real sleeper team. I mean, even for the Falcons, I get Desmond Ridder. I'm not sold on him either, but Beydoun, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, they got playmakers. So Falcons are a sleeper, and they added some pieces in the offseason, and they got Jeff Okudah coming back to Detroit.
Yeah,
so it'll
whoever's lining up on Okudah, by the way, start him in fantasy, by the way. 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. You're welcome.
I knew that was coming.
Early fantasy advice from me. But those are the first 5
But
games.
the Panthers, I think, and me and you will disagree here,
I know you rate them higher than I do.
I still have the Lions, and we'll get to it. I'll tell you later if I have them winning or losing. But still, the Panthers, to me, good defense. I think they upgraded at quarterback. Would you agree there? Bryce Young?
Of course they did.
So,
of course they did. But we talked about this on Wednesday, and you weren't here. What does an ideal September look like? Okay, this is an interesting September where you play Kansas City, Seattle, Atlanta, and Green Bay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, we're not worried. We've got this. Okay, I agree. And I think, in my opinion, I ran through the schedule twice. I only did 2 different mocks. I had the same amount of wins in both times I did them, but you can't tell me that there isn't a legitimate case to be made that 1-3 isn't a real possibility, let alone 0-4 if you don't come out swinging this year. I need to see more of the tail end of last year at the start of this year. You can't come out and start 1-6 again. You're trying to win the division. You're trying to have a number 2, number 3 seed in the NFC. You can't come out and play that way. So yeah, Kansas City, Seattle, the optimist, 1-1. The pessimist would say 0-2, but I think they should beat Seattle at home. Atlanta and Green Bay, I think you should win both. But Atlanta's a tricky game, and Green Bay, it's in Lambeau.
And we don't know
And you
about-
got to give some respect to that. Home field advantage does matter in the NFL. The data says it does, okay?
And we don't know about Jordan Love either. I got to just say that.
I'm not
saying-
worried about Jordan Love.
We
I'm
don't
really
know.
not.
We don't.
But
right
to
now.
me, those first 5 games, I told you this. I did 2 of them. One of them, I did have them starting 1-4, and the other one I had them starting 3-2. I think the more you look at the schedule, the worst case scenario would be 1-4. I think if everything falls apart, you start 0-4 and then you beat Carolina. I don't expect that, but I think their hardest games are in the beginning of the year, and then after that, it's really, I don't want to say easy wins, but you look at the schedule, it's favorable after week 4. It really is. I think Atlanta, Seattle, Kansas City, and Green Bay, Jeff, that's a tough opener. That's a tough 4-game stretch.
And considering how Dan Campbell, during his tenure, the last 2 years, they've started, and I know the teams are very different, but this is significant to be able to start. If you're competing for your division, you got to get off to a run right away, especially when you got the Packers in week 4, and then you follow that up, and even in the middle of the season, you have a stretch of divisional games. You play the Vikings 2 weeks apart and late in the season. Like, this divisional race, although I think the Lions will still win the division, it'll come down to that last stretch of games. I think taking care of the Packers, or at least splitting with the Packers, is a must. And the Bears are going to be interesting because I don't know how much the Bears improved. I think they improved significantly, but Justin Fields...
Depends who you ask.
That's who I'm more
It depends
concerned
who you
about.
ask.
Now, Fields could come out and play great, or last year he could be basically a running back who throws 16 touchdowns. I don't know. So the Lions, to me, are the clear favorite, but those first 4 games, starting off good in September, is a must.
Can we throw a poll in the chat? I just want to know. Am I the only one here that thinks the first 4 games are actually very difficult? I do think Atlanta poses again, I'm not saying they're better than you. I'm looking at what problems do the Atlanta Falcons pose for the Lions, the Chiefs, the Seahawks. The Chiefs, obviously, I mean, they're the gold standard, right? There's nothing you can do about the week 1 game. You hope the Lions go out, and maybe they can go for an upset. But if not, I don't think anybody's showing up on that Monday morning. Oh, here we go. Another season opening loss by Dan Campbell. Unacceptable. I don't think anybody's doing that on that Monday morning.
I do think...
And even if you lose to Seattle, tough shit. You still got the whole season ahead of you. I don't think there's reason to freak the hell out, even if you blow 2 fourth-quarter leads, let's say, against those teams. Because your schedule, I think it's a very favorable schedule, but I want to know. Throw it in the poll. First 4 games, am I crazy? Jeff, JB, am I overrating Atlanta and Seattle here?
JB, what you
Am
think?
I overestimating Green Bay and Lambeau?
No, you make some valid points. I will say the Green Bay and Lambeau, you can't escape that just because that field, has a lot of history behind it. And you can't just say, oh, Jordan Love is just going to be absolutely terrible, even though we think so. So that's a game you kind of have to look out for. Atlanta and Seattle, I'm kind of iffy about, just because I don't know about Atlanta's QB position right now, if they're going to stick with Desmond Ridder or if they're going to go with, Taylor Heineke?
Can I ask you this then?
What's that?
Face value. Don't go into any details. I tell you, Kansas City, win-loss. Go.
Loss.
Okay. Seattle, win-loss at home.
Win.
Okay. Then I imagine the next 3 games you're going to tell me win. Atlanta, Green Bay, Carolina.
All wins.
I would agree with you.
Yes.
At face value, I would agree with you. It's not how it works.
Yeah. That's fair.
Fair?
That's fair.
Jeff?
And even this poll right here I just put in, because I agree with JB, but I do have them losing to the Packers the first game. because I think they'll split with the Packers. And although I love it, you'd start off, 5-1 at that point, because I have them beating the Panthers.
I think you should have 3-1 on that poll, but, it is what it is. I think 3-1 is the best case scenario. I think worst case scenario 1-3. I do.
Majority of people feel 2-2, which is still fair. 2-2 wouldn't be bad. You're still in the division race.
Can I get a yes or no in the chat? Would you guys agree with me on this? I think best case scenario they're 3-1 at the start, and worst case I think 1-3. Does anybody not believe they can lose in Lambeau? Does anybody not believe that they can lose to the Seahawks at home? Like, am I the only one?
No, I think they can lose to the Seahawks. The Chiefs, I have them losing to.
Again, I'm not saying it will. And when we go through the schedule predictions, obviously I'm going to share with you what I think will happen. But
they certainly could, yes. Seattle got better.
I think the early part of your schedule is difficult. But then we get to Carolina, and let's continue on here. You got Carolina, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Vegas. That's before your bye week. So weeks 5, 6, 7, and 8. You're home to Carolina, on the road in Tampa, on the road to Baltimore, and home to Vegas on Monday Night Football. You get a Monday Night Football here in Detroit. How exciting is that?
I love this comment. Mark hit it on the head. Seattle will not, WoodwardSports.com, he comments, Seattle will not beat themselves, and Atlanta could expose a still not great defense with those guys.
A run defense, I would say.
Getting to know each other still. Yeah, certainly. I think they should beat Atlanta, but Mark brings up a great point. It's not easy wins. I remember we did this last year.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're easy wins.
Yes.
I'm not saying they're guaranteed losses. I look at the pros and cons of playing any team. I think Kansas City, teams are terrified of playing the Chiefs week 1 for a reason.
Of course.
Andy Reid can throw the kitchen sink at you and never use it again.
And think about it.
You'll have no idea what's coming.
It's like Andy Reid is coming off the biggest bye week ever. Like, he has the entire offseason to come prepare for week 1. Same with Ben Johnson, though, but still, yeah, that's a problem.
And that's your saving grace. And that's why I have confidence, at least in week 1, because I think you don't have Andy Reid, but you have somebody that we truly believe in. I think he's proven himself so far in his young, early career that I think they have an offense that's good enough to go into Arrowhead and put up 28, 31, 34 points and maybe steal a game. Right. Maybe. I'm not going to bet on it. I'm definitely going to bet the Chiefs. But I think the offense is good enough.
Yeah,
but hey, let's take a break.
AG's going to have to come with a great game plan there.
Absolutely. Let's take a break. When we get back, you got Carolina, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, and Las Vegas. We'll get to those 4 teams next. But before we go, Jeff, your favorite food in town? And my good friends over at Big Boy.
Let me tell you about them, guys. Strawberry Fest is officially back at Big Boy. You could try classic breakfast items like strawberry hotcakes or mouth-watering red velvet waffle. But if you're not feeling breakfast, try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or cool off with their refreshing summer splash salad. Check it all out and more at Big Boy.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
All right, we're back here on the luckiest show on the Woodward Sports Network, live, woodwardsports.com. As always, Adam Beydoun, Jeff Iafrate, baby. I love it. It's Friday morning. I hope you all are looking forward to your weekend. I really don't have anything planned, to be honest with any of you. I'm probably just going to sit home and play Lions schedule within my head and literally draw myself and what could happen for the next 72 hours. But look, we're talking about the schedule before we went to break, and now we're at the point where, you get past what I think is the hardest 4-game stretch of the year, and then you get to Carolina, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Vegas. I want to talk about coaching for a minute, not the teams, because I think when you talk about teams, Carolina and Tampa Bay lines are way better. Coaching, I think they have a leg up. Frank Reich, yes, the more proven coach. He's more experienced, but I'm sorry. I like a Dan Campbell coach team over a Frank Reich coach Carolina Panthers. It's just my 2 cents.
I agree with you there.
But after that, now it gets tricky. Now you got John Harbaugh, and you're on the road to Baltimore. And I think you have to know something I don't to think that one's going to be a win. That's a very difficult game. I think outside of Kansas City, that's arguably your hardest game of the year. I think there's Denver going on later on in the season, but we don't know what Denver is right now. We expect them to be really good under Sean Payton, but the AFC is a gauntlet, man. So who knows what they're going to look like by then. And then you got Vegas, which is coached by Josh McDaniels. So in that 4-game stretch, I think you have the better coach in 3 of them. That should be a 3-1 stretch at worst, in my opinion. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. The only one that's majorly concerning is on the road to the Ravens. I mean, you got John Harbaugh. That defense is still the Ravens' defense. They gave Lamar the bag. They signed Odell. They got some weapons. You still have Mark Andrews, the best tight end, or one of the best tight ends in football. Yeah, you should be concerned. I mean, you're going on the road. And we talk about the road concerns for Dan Campbell. He proved that narrative last year with what they did on the road. But still, regardless, that Ravens game, I have that as a loss. I'm more confident in, obviously, the Raiders, Buccaneers, Panthers. I think you hit it on the head. Coaching advantage, roster advantage. But the Ravens, the way they play, too, with Lamar, them struggling to stop running quarterbacks. And I know 2 years ago they actually played Lamar close if it wasn't for Justin Tucker hitting a 71-yard field goal. But besides that, I think the Ravens game will be a lower scoring game. But yeah, the Ravens on the road, that's tough. That's real tough.
Look, the Ravens always have a top 15, top 10 defense. Every year that Lamar Jackson has started as quarterback, they fielded a top 10 defense when he's played.
And he's won about 60% of the games in the regular season.
Yeah,
so
look,
we're not facing
look, I'm not a fan of paying quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, obviously. But, in some situations, I at least can understand it. You're in the AFC. You're not winning with Blaine Gabbert, Nick Foles. You're not winning with any of the quarterbacks in the NFC. In the AFC, you need special. Lamar's special. I'll give you that. He is special. Not special the way I would like it, but it doesn't matter what I like. Right. He's special enough to win games. I think Baltimore's a difficult matchup. But you continue on after the bye week. You got 2 weeks to prep for Brandon Staley, who may or may not be in the job by week 10. And that's just my opinion. It's tough to keep your job when you blow a 27-0 lead. And now Sean Payton's in Denver. And you already got Andy Reid and Mahomes to deal with. Yeah, the Raiders are garbage. Nobody really takes them serious. But still, how the Chargers find 10 wins on their schedule, they can't afford to lose one NFC game this year. That's how desperate and that's how difficult it's going to be for them. But look, at LA, I don't think it's much of home field advantage. I actually think by week 10, the Lions will be the favorites going into their week 10 matchup by 1.5 points against the Los Angeles Chargers. And then you get the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, and the New Orleans Saints. Probably, again, another stretch where you can tell me, worst case scenario, Adam, they're 3-1. Because I think you can beat the Bears, obviously, at home. I think you beat the Packers at home, absolutely. You're on the road to New Orleans. They got a tricky defense.
Which is tricky.
A tricky defense now. Derek Carr, we don't know what they can be, right?
Yeah.
Are they going to be a 10-win division-winning team this year, or are they just going to be nothing special? We'll learn a lot more by week 13 about the Saints and how difficult that can be. But what I will say is I will tend to lean on the Saints game being a pretty hard game. I think you're capable of winning, and that's the fun. You know what? I'm sorry. I have to say it, though. That's the fun part about all this. I know some of you think, schedule doesn't matter. It's way too early. Shut the fuck up. All right? It does. One, it does matter. Two, I feel like talking about it, and so does Jeff, so fuck it. That's what we're going to do. All right? And number 3, more important than anything, you see how we're going through this list and we're having this conversation, and the Lions could, they should, they this, they that. you're going to have the expectation, and I would say 70% of your games, that you should be winning.
They'll be favored in
In a
most of these
majority
games.
of those games. I think
Yeah.
Baltimore on the road, they won't. Kansas City, obviously, on the road, they won't, and they aren't at the moment. Seattle, maybe a 1.5 or maybe half a point, they'll be a favorite, maybe.
And there's a chance that at the Chargers, maybe they're a slight
I think there'll be
favorite.
favorites there, depending on where the Chargers are trending at that
But even
time.
if not, most of these.
The overall point is, get comfortable with expecting your team to win a lot of football games this year. Get comfortable. I think the floor's 10, the ceiling's 12. You're going to be able to deliver this year. Whether I, Jeff, Matt, Jay, anybody tells you or not, this is a good football team. And that's why we started off without the schedule. I just wanted to acknowledge, hey, Detroit's a good football team. Are we crazy?
No.
Oh, can we put aside the support for the team a little bit and talk about their defensive line getting a lot better? And really, the secondary, miles ahead of where they were last year.
Complete makeover, yeah.
You have the offensive line still. You got the brilliant offensive coordinator. You got very good quarterback. You've got a wide receiving core that, with Jameson Williams will be better. But, hey, you know what? I've seen them win without him anyways for a majority of last year. And you were winning down the stretch even when he was in the game because he wasn't doing much anyways. So, look, this is a good football team. I'm not going to accept any slander on the idea that the Lions, you shouldn't pencil any game in for shut the fuck up. You want to talk shit about the Lions? Be my guest. Don't do it here. Unacceptable zone right now. They go out and shit the bed and go 4-13. They'll be held accountable in ways that you could never imagine. People are getting fired if they go 4-13, but they're not. At worst, they're a 10-7 football team. At worst.
Yeah.
Jeff, what do you think of that 4-week schedule after the bye?
For the most part, I mean, even after Chargers, I think it's a tough one because, again, Justin Herbert. They still have weapons. They still have pieces on defense. But Brandon Staley, I've never been the most biggest fan of. I've always been critical of Brandon Staley. I think that's a tricky game, but I think the Lions can win that game. You're coming off a bye week. I think that's the time right there. You get, how many days exactly? I want to check just so I make sure. From October 30th, the last game you play the Raiders, you have until November 12th until you play the Chargers. So I think they could beat the Chargers. The Bears at home, Packers at home, I think those are both wins. The Saints I struggled with because me and you are more higher on Derek Carr than other people. I like Derek Carr, and I think the Saints, with what they have defensively, they got pieces offensively. I'm not sold on Dennis Allen, though. So if we're going back to coaching, it's also Dan Campbell's visiting back to New Orleans to face the Saints. I think that'll be a good game. I still think the Lions can win that game, but still,
coaching's important. That 4-game stretch.
I
Look, I know
put them at 4-0 during that stretch. So,
and I don't blame you. Look, I gotta do two things here. All right. First, I want to acknowledge one very important fact, and really that whole 4-week stretch. You got Chicago twice, Green Bay, 2 of those games that are at home, and then 2 on the road at Chicago and, of course, at New Orleans. I'm one of the people that believe New Orleans will be better by the time the season really starts. I think they're going to be better. I think Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, what their offensive line is going to be capable. I would be shocked if they're not a 9-10 win team this year, given how garbage their division is. But anyways, beyond the point, I think that's where we're at with the Lions so far. I think you're going through the schedule and you're saying, I got to find wins, but where do I find the losses? The losses seem to be coming on the road, excuse me. Maybe Seattle's the only team that can beat you at home this year? Maybe?
I had them at 6-1 at home. I think the only home loss I have...
7-1, you mean?
Excuse me. Yes, 7-1. The only home loss I have is the Broncos.
Oh, okay.
So because I don't know what I'm getting out of Sean Payton coach Broncos team, but I think they'll be great at home again. They were last year, and Ford Field's going to be rocking this year.
Absolutely.
Like last year it was towards the end of the season, but this season right off the rip, I can't imagine. I mean, game 2 against the Seahawks, it'll be sold out.
Look, I want to get to callers. So we'll wrap up the year with Denver, Minnesota, Dallas, Minnesota. Again, another stretch where 1-3 is really possible here. That's probably the second hardest 4-game stretch you have of the entire year. Outside of the beginning, the end is a bit tricky. You are going home and playing Denver. they could be Super Bowl contenders. You don't know that yet.
Right.
Minnesota, on the road, always a challenge. Just like Green Bay and Lambeau, you have to give some respect. Dallas, on the road, that's a tough game. That's what a fucking playoff game looks like,
Yeah,
by the way.
two teams that are going to make the playoffs.
That's going to be a playoff atmosphere. And then you got Minnesota at home. You should take care of business. And that is probably the week I think you clinch the division, depending on how the other teams do. But, hey, look, we'll take a break. We'll get to callers. 313-552-6322 is the number. This coffee is delicious. Shout out to Hassan Bezi, by the way. Delicious coffee. Can't thank him enough. But we'll go to break. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Swiss Insurance.
Well, let me tell you a company that you can draft that'll give you the most cost-effective plan and protect you like the Lions O-line, the best O-line in the league. Email Swiss Insurance today, mark@swissins.com. That's mark@swissins.com, or go to www.swissins.com for more information.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
All right, 8:42 on a beautiful Friday morning. We are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to take some callers. JB, the phone lines are busy, but before we get to the phone lines, JB, I just want to ask you, your thoughts so far on the schedule. Would you agree the home game's pretty favorable, and most of the potential loss is probably coming on the road, no?
Yeah, that's fair to say. A lot of the home games I saw in my head as automatic wins, and as you said, 10 wins seems to be the floor. That is the minimum that I think not only they will accept, but also Lions fans around the world will accept. 10 wins minimum.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things I find hilarious, by the way, I was reading a report yesterday. There was a random GM, or it was actually a GM, who said, you know, when Lovie Smith won that game for the Texans last year, which they totally should have taken and secured the #1 overall pick, he said, you have no idea what that does to a franchise. Like, he had no business winning that game. It was, like, pretty, like, harsh.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, you know what, honestly, I feel bad for Lovie Smith, because just like David Culley, he signed up for...
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
100%.
It's like he would have got fired either way.
100%. But, look, let's start. JB, who do we got? First caller on the line.
I will send you guys James.
All right, James, you're on the morning show. The schedule's out, buddy. How you feeling about the team? What do you think of the schedule? How many games do you think they win, buddy? I don't think James knows what the fuck's going on right now. So let's go to the next caller. JB, if you don't mind. I think he's talking in the background, so we'll get back to James later. Who's the next caller?
All right, I will send you guys David.
All right, David, you're on the morning show. Lions schedule is out. Optimistic? Pessimistic? Where are you at this morning? How many games do you have them winning? Talk to me about the games you are most concerned of, and how do you think they do in the division?
Very optimistic about the Lions' schedule this year. I've been a Lions fan for almost 60 years, and this is the most optimistic I've seen them in many, many years. The one thing I noticed about it is our bye week is in the middle of the season, which is a great time to have that. And another thing, if you look at it, we only lose one division game without Jameson Williams due to his suspension, which is optimistic.
And you think that's what, the game in Lambeau?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only game that we lose in reference to suspension. So I can deal with that with playing them in Lambeau. And the other games are right at the end of the season. It's very important to have all of our weapons available at that time.
You said you've been a Lions fan for, my goodness, quite some time now. I have to ask you, primetime games, you got 3 of them, 3 Thursday night football games and 1 Monday night football game.
Yes.
Can I expect you to be down there at Ford Field for the Monday night and Thursday night games?
If I can get tickets, that might be difficult.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
I'm gonna have to jump on it right away.
I love it.
And I also I'm a retired police officer in Arlington, and I've done Cowboy games for many years. I put up with a lot of their garbage. So I can't wait for us to go down to Dallas and really kick them this year.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm with you, Jeff. Absolutely. Well, look, best of luck. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for calling, and I think you're going to be a very, very happy fan this year with what the Lions put on the field. Thank you so much.
Thanks, David.
I certainly hope so. We'll see.
I love it. Look, and that's always the funny part, by the way. I think every conversation we have, everybody will say, we'll see, or I hope. Because they've never done it. I think that is a reality they have to face. I think it's a demon they have to conquer. You have to get those two monkeys off your back. Winning a playoff game, hosting a playoff game for that matter, and then add a third one, winning the division. Right? So, it is what it is. JB, let's go to the next caller. Who do we got?
All right, so I couldn't really hear this guy, but I think it's JD. So here we go.
John Doe. What do we got this morning, buddy?
John Doe.
Oh, John Doe. You're John Doe today. Yep. You're John Doe, buddy. What's up? You there?
Oh, he hung up.
Oh, son of a bitch.
All right, I'll send you guys Noah.
Poor John.
All right. Noah, don't worry. The phone lines are jammed. We're going to be fine all day. Noah, you're on the morning show. Schedule's out. What do you think? What do you got them winning? How many games?
What up, Doe?
What's up, brother?
I got us losing 5 games max, man. Honestly, looking at the schedule, we're not losing a game in Ford Field. And I'm just looking at the quarterback matchups. Like, I don't see any team in the NFC South beating us, honestly.
I would agree with that.
Obviously, I said we're going to win every game at Ford Field, so I think we got Seahawks. Just looking at quarterbacks, I see Mahomes, Herbert, Lamar, and I have faith in the Broncos this year, too. So those are the 4 I'm like, we might lose. Other than that, I think we're sweeping it, man. Like, we got the offense rolling. I think getting, like, Laporta added in is going to be big for us. I think once we get Jameson back, I think Jameer is going to be crazy in like, all phases, like, running, catching, special teams. Like, I think the league's fucked, man. Like, it's over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it.
They're fucked. They are fucked. The 49ers,
yeah.
I don't care, man. Sam Darnold or Purdy, like, give me Mahomes and the weapons we have around them. They got the defense, obviously, but the league's fucked, man.
Brother,
the Lions are here. It's over.
Yes, sir.
I agree with you 1,000%. And you know what? I said this yesterday. You looked at me like I was a crackhead, but I said this yesterday. I'm not as sold on the top of the NFC being so far away from Detroit and Seattle. I just don't think. I don't think Philly got any better. I think San Francisco are what they are. They're Super Bowl contenders. They're the most complete roster in football. I mean, if you lose to San Francisco, I'm not going to kill myself over it. They're one of the best coached teams and one of the most talented teams. But to his point, you're looking at the Lions right now. You look at the schedule, the home games, worst case 7-1 at home. You look at the road games, you play 4 good quarterbacks on the road.
We're not losing 1 at home.
Well, there you go. Then you're at 12-5. You're at 12-5, and I do think that's your ceiling. I know you said that's the most you see them losing, but I think 12-5 is the most they can win. I think it's so hard to win in the NFL enough.
Yeah, because now we're talking about winning the NFC. Like once you start getting to 13-14,
that's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. He's gonna win.
No, he's all
in,
man.
I love it. Appreciate the call, Noah, buddy. I appreciate it, man.
Let's go, man.
I love it. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, brother.
Appreciate you, Noah.
Y'all too, man. Let's go.
I love
that. Shout out to Noah. He win the NFC. F it. You know what?
Again, look, I'm not going to be the one to tell anybody you can't have an opinion or say anything, but 13, let me not say 13, 12 wins. I think 12 wins could be enough to win the NFC this year.
You think so?
Yeah. I think 12 is enough to win the NFC. Do I see a team going 13-4? I only see one. That's the Niners. That's the only team. I think Philly are capable of losing a game to Washington in division. I think they're capable of losing to the Giants in division. And I think they're losing a game in division to the Cowboys. I think there are losses to be had for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. You look at their AFC schedule. Again, Jalen Hurts is going to have to win football games in a way he didn't have to last year. Not that he can't. He can. He's an amazing quarterback. But this year is going to be a learning year for Philly a little bit. They're going to have to adjust now. They're now one of the better teams in football. Teams know what they're getting going into Philly now. They know what to expect. They know it's a good football team. I think Philly 12-5 is probably the schedule or the record for
13,
them. I would say 13-4 for San Francisco if they have a healthy quarterback situation the whole year. Could be enough. Could be enough. JB, let's go to the next caller. Who do we got?
All right, we're going to try this again with James one more time.
James, you fucked this up. I swear to God, I will block your number. James, you're on the morning show. What are you thinking of the record, buddy?
Please don't block my number. But I think the first game kind of gives you the atmosphere for the whole season. If they come in and do what they're supposed to do, and they come in and it's just a tidbit loss, lose by a field goal, they might get mad and clear out the whole rest of the season. And my estimate right now is 12-5. I agree with the person in front of me because they did what they were supposed to do. Jahmyr Gibbs, that was a great pickup. People don't understand it. We don't understand it when they lock up the running game and you need Jahmyr to come out and get a screen or something of that nature. And then it's over.
I think offensively,
that's my mindset on that.
I would agree with you. I think offensively they're going to be a problem. And, you know, I touched on this Wednesday. God, Jeff, you had to miss Wednesday's show, man. Good conversations. I brought up, it seems to me, and, you know, maybe this is a general public opinion. I haven't heard it, which is why I brought it up Wednesday. It's something I really believe. I think they know Ben Johnson's last year's this year.
Oh, yeah.
And they went out and they said, you know what? This is the best player, offensive player, I should say, that we have rated on our board. We're getting him. Sam Laporte, a second-round tight end. Yeah, we can probably win with Brock Wright, Shane Zylstra, and James Mitchell. But fuck it. Like, we got this guy for 1 year. We know he's a wizard. We know what he's capable of. It's essentially the Lions going in and all in for this year, but they're not because they have a shit ton of money next year, and the team is so young. It's just what I think, Jeff. I wanted to know what you thought of it.
No, I agree with you. I think this year, too, I mean, you mentioned 12-5, which I think is most of a consensus. I've seen a lot of 12 wins, but even bringing up the whole Ben Johnson point, they're going all in regardless. And we talked about this before the draft, too. Are they going to go back-to-back defensive players? Are they going to take an offensive player? And after those two first-round picks, you saw it. Running back is the first pick, which no one predicted. I didn't know it would be Jahmyr Gibbs, but it tells you where they're going. And again, just because the offense was top 5 in total yards last year doesn't mean you can't improve it. Like, there's still holes, and I think they hit on it. Jahmyr Gibbs will play. Sam Laporta will play. We'll see. But they definitely upgraded the offense.
Can I pitch you on something, and you tell me, Adam, you're crazy? So, you know, Kyle Shanahan has had a knack for keeping his defensive coordinators a year longer than he probably should or could have, which is impressive. But why? Why is Kyle Shanahan able to do it? Well, the Niners are always in NFC Championship games, right? They've gotten to a Super Bowl. When you're DeMeco Ryans, you're Robert Saleh, you're looking at your situation and saying, I'm coaching a top 10 defense next year, no matter what. Like, I'm going to get the job offers. So let me go vet out, let me interview, let me see what's out there. And if I'm not in love,
right,
I truly believe in myself enough and the team. Like, I got a good situation here. If the Lions go 12-5, like the callers are saying they see them going, you're 12-5, you're a number 2 seed, let's say, number 3, a worst case scenario, because the Eagles and Niners are just a game better, maybe. You won your division, you win a wild card game, you get to the divisional round, dare I say you win in the divisional round, and you get to an NFC Championship game and you come up short. Barring the LA Charger job opening up, which I think is the only job Ben Johnson would leave, even if it doesn't matter how much they offer him. Like,
as he should.
He would be as he should. But, like, to me, if you want to keep Ben Johnson, you have to win at an elite level. The problem is when you win at the elite level, people are more likely to come after the offensive coordinator than the defensive coordinator.
Check out the Eagles.
And that's
just happened.
So we'll see. It's going to be tough to keep him. I think it's his last year. barring unpredicted or unpredictable circumstances. We'll see how it plays out. But look, we'll take actually, no, we have time. What are we doing? We got time. JB, can we take another caller?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, who do we got?
Send you Charles.
All right, Charles, good morning. You're on the morning show. Thank you for calling in. The Lions' schedule is out, buddy. How are you feeling this morning? What do you think about their chances? How many games they win? And do you think they are division winners?
I think they'll win the division. I'm actually just really focused on the first game of the year. Because if you think about it, Kansas City won the Super Bowl last year, and they hosted the NFL draft. And Detroit hosts the draft next year.
Mm-hmm.
So the NFL really needs Detroit to win this game. You see what I'm saying? To make the draft in 2024 more popular for our city.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, even next year with all the hype surrounding the draft, if you go out and you beat the Chiefs, they're giving the Lions multiple primetime games for a reason. This is their opportunity to go not even show just Lions fans, but the entire NFL that they're here to stay. And if you could do that and you have the draft next year in Detroit, man, it'll be great for the city, no doubt about it.
No doubt.
I appreciate you calling, Charles.
That's my only question.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
No, that's it. I'm good.
Oh, you're good? Oh, my bad. Misheard you, Charles. Appreciate the call, buddy. You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks.
My guy.
For some reason, I thought he said he had a question, but all right. Oh, well. I'm going deaf.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dumb, deaf, and hopefully soon I'll be blind, so I don't have to look at certain people. Moving on.
What a great 2 years, though. I mean, you got an exciting season upcoming for the Lions, and then you got the draft next year in Detroit. And we'll be there. Can't wait.
You know, it's funny. I'm excited for the draft for different reasons. I think downtown Detroit's going to be bumping. All the great food that's going to be out. All the good people that are going to be out there for it. It's going to be a blast. But the Lions are probably going to be picking 22nd, 24th.
It's more about the city.
Yeah,
I think.
So to me, it's more of a party than, holy shit, this is the year. We're going to draft our guy in our hometown. It's probably not going to happen. Like, if you have a top 5 pick this year,
something went wrong.
I might reconsider doing sports talk.
That is blasphemous.
Straight up.
Right.
I can't imagine a scenario, and that's why I have their floor at 10 wins. I can't envision. I can't honestly look at the football team and say, yeah, they're not good enough to win 10 games. Like, really? They're not a game better after all the work they did with the secondary, giving Ben Johnson all the weapons they gave him, drafting Jack Campbell, drafting a first-round talent in Brian Branch in the second round. I can't.
Yeah, they got significantly better.
Look, you can criticize my opinions, you can criticize Jeff's, you can say this or that, but I can't not acknowledge the job Brad Holmes has done, their front office, the way they've worked together, and hopefully this is the year that Dan Campbell can get legitimate praise, not just, oh, well, he's a good man, and there's good culture, and he's a good guy, and everybody likes him, and he treats people well. Win football games, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is the year he's poised to get the admiration and the love and respect that he feels he deserves, which, rightfully so for him individually.
And I think a lot of that will be based on player development because you had one of the youngest rosters last year. If this year you come out and everybody's improved and you win 10, 11, 12 games, hell yes, Dan Campbell deserves a ton of credit because that's his job, develop players. And they've done that in Detroit so far. So we'll see. Big expectations.
Big expectations
they gotta live up to
this year. They have to. They absolutely have to.
But this is what you want. This is what you want.
My dad always used to teach me this about the Red Wings. So when I was a kid, the Wings obviously were fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Cup after Stanley Cup, it was a layup. And he said, Dad, you're only old enough to remember how good they are. But I had to watch them be really bad. And when they first started getting good and before they ever won the Cups and they lost in the Stanley Cup final and they lost in the conference finals, you had to learn how to play in those big moments. And I think that's what this year should be about as well. I think they're a 10 to 12 win team at the most, but get comfortable being uncomfortable this year, Detroit. I think that's the message. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You're going to watch football games that you have expectations on. You actually think you can win. And if you don't, you're going to be freaking out. And if you do, you're going to be on cloud 9. I just think that is now, you're teetering on the welcome to being a really good football team. This isn't the Jim Caldwell years. This isn't the Wayne Fonts years. This is a legitimate roster that I think only can get better from here.
Yep.
Now it's up to the coach and the players to deliver. So we'll take a break. When we get back, top of the hour, Jeff and I will continue to go over the schedule. We'll take callers at 9:15 as well. I appreciate everybody calling in. Lines are packed. If you go straight to voicemail, it's JB's fault. It's not mine. I swear to God. You guys are just calling in way too much, but we love it. But before we go, I got to tell you about my good friends over at Planet Fitness. If you're between the ages of 14 and 19, well, I got some great news for you. You can work out in any North American Planet Fitness location starting May 15th up until August 31st. All summer long, you could work out for free at any Planet Fitness. You can thank them. It's the home of the $10 a month gym. Your fitness is essential. Check them out, planetfitness.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Friday morning, top of the hour. We got 59 minutes to go, and I'm going to enjoy the living hell out of these 59 minutes. So, Jeff, let's not cut the shit. You and I have gone through the schedule.
We teased it.
We've teased, well, I wouldn't say teased, but, we've
at least teased our predictions.
Sure.
I didn't say
Well, now we're going to give them.
Yes.
Game by game, win by win, loss by loss. Jeff, would you like to start first?
Yeah, we'll start week 1.
All right.
At Chiefs.
Do you want to go one by one, or do you want to go through your whole schedule
We'll
first?
go one by one.
Okay.
I want just so we can debate if we disagree, maybe.
Okay,
on some
perfect.
games,
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's do it. Go. You first. Kansas City on the road. I think we're going to agree here.
I think they lose to the Chiefs, unfortunately, but I do think they played the Chiefs tough. It's week 1. For me to sit here and say they're going to beat the Chiefs decisively is tough, but I do think they give the Chiefs a run for their money. I think you made a great point the other day. I think they're going to catch the Chiefs off guard defensively because, again, this is a very different secondary than they had last year. And yes.
And a front seven.
Absolutely. And the front seven is going to improve automatically. You just added Jack Campbell, but regardless, Aiden, Houston, these guys are going to get better. The other question I have is, who's Patrick Mahomes going to rely on? Besides Kelsey. We know that. But they lost Juju last offseason. He was technically their number one wide receiver. Kelsey's the number one option. That's going to be the biggest thing. But I'm going to say they lose to the Chiefs close. I do think. They give them a game, but they lose to the Super Bowl champions of last year.
All right. I told you I do think they can win this game. I do think they can win it by a scoreline of 34-31.
Mm-hmm.
But Andy Reid is 8-0 at home since 2015. Or, excuse me, in season openers, he's 8-0. Patrick Mahomes has only lost 3 September games in his career. Look, I'm with you guys. I'm optimistic. I'm feeling great about it. I do think your offense can catch their defense off guard more than their offense can catch yours. I think you can win this game. But if I were to chalk it up win-loss, I'd give it a loss. I just have to. You can't bet against Mahomes and Reed. You just can't do it. Moving on to week 2, we agree. So far, they're 0-1.
Yep, 0-1 to start.
Seattle at home. Jeff, go for it.
Yeah, they take Seattle at home.
Game.
This is the revenge game. I think they beat Seattle. But this game, I think, could be another close one because Seattle, they did get better as well. They added Jackson Smith-Njigba. They added Devon Witherspoon. We know Geno Smith, again, 1 year. I don't know what I'm getting out of Geno, but he's got too much on offense not to have another great year. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, better offensive line, just naturally. They're going to get better. And so, again, overall, Seahawks are a good team, but it is at home. And it is a revenge game. And I think the Lions are going to be locked in, especially starting off 0-1. I got them beating the Seahawks.
Okay, we disagree here.
Okay.
We disagree. I think in a disappointing loss, a close loss, and again, way too early, I have to go Seattle here. I just think Seattle got so much better.
So 0-2.
The problem here is I like Detroit's quarterback more. That's the biggest problem I have with giving Seattle. And can they beat the Lions back-to-back years on the road? Seattle's capable.
Mm-hmm.
Their secondary got better. They drafted Devon Witherspoon. They hit some really nice draft picks. They got JSN. Look, Hard for me to pick against the Lions here, especially because they're at home. But if they're going to lose a home game this year, it was, for me, a toss-up between Denver and Seattle. I'm going to go with Seattle as a loss here.
Yeah, and the big thing for Seattle, and even last year, it was a shootout regardless. And Seattle is more talented in their secondary than their defensive line. I think the Lions have an opportunity to control the line of scrimmage right away with Seattle. But again, you're
Seattle,
right.
Zach Charbonnet, and Kenneth Walker, I think they can do the same.
So there you go. It's going to be a close game, but I'm going to give the slight edge of the Lions here. They're 1-1 after 2.
And keep in mind, Jameson Williams misses the first 6 games of the year. Week 3, Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to chalk this one up. I'll go first. I think they beat Atlanta.
Yeah, we're going to agree here.
Look, again, I made the case earlier. This is a tricky game. Atlanta score unexpected points. Is there a better way for me to explain that? They score more than you think they're really capable of. And they've always done that under Arthur Smith, whether it's with Ritter or with whoever it is. It doesn't matter. They find ways to score points. Atlanta's going to be a tricky game. Detroit has to show up for it, but by then I think they're in groove, and you're not going to see them lose for a minute after this, and we'll get to that. But I think they beat Atlanta.
Yeah, no, you summed it up. I think they beat Atlanta, although I think Atlanta could be a sleeper here because, again, like I described, they're going to want to run the ball. It's a big test for the Lions and their defensive line, but I think they hold up. I think they absolutely rattle Desmond Ritter, and they get the job done at home. So they take care of business here. So
all right, you got them 2-1.
2-1 after 3 games.
I got them at 1-2 after Week 4. Green Bay Packers on the road. I'll let you take this first.
On the road at the Packers, I have a loss here. And the reason why is because I think they split with the Packers, and I think they're going to win the home game against the Packers. So I'm going to give them a loss here against the Packers. I don't know what I'm getting out of Jordan Love. He could stink this year, and this prediction could be way off. But again, it's in Lambeau. You're 2-1. It's a divisional game. I think they steal it.
Short week.
Short week. It'll be low scoring, but I'm going to give the edge to the Packers in that first game, Week 4. So they're 2-2.
I'm going to agree.
2-2 after 4.
I got them now at 1-3. But I'm not pressing the panic button here, and you'll understand why.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do think they split with Green Bay in terms of the divisional games. I think the Lions win at home, just like you said, and the Packers will win at home.
Yep.
I think this is one of the few division games the Packers will steal this year. But I got it as a loss. I have them at 1-3. You have them at 2-2. And now I think this is where you and I are going to start agreeing probably up until Denver. Okay? Carolina at home. I think the Lions win by double digits.
Yeah, I think they win this game. They take care of it. Bryce Young, I'm huge on Bryce Young, but the Panthers, to me, it would be Bryce's 5th game at that point. Give me the Lions. They take care of them at home. Revenge game again. And again, that defensive line is going to be ready to play. You saw Ali McNeil, his favorite matchup when the Lions put out that video. It was Carolina, baby. So we'll see. But yeah, give me the Lions, taking care of the Panthers there.
All right, we're going to agree. And I think on the road to Tampa, and this is why I said they're not going to lose for a hot minute, it's going to get pretty easy from here. I think Tampa Bay, they handle business. On the road, no problem at all. I think another double-digit win here. At the worst, a touchdown win for the Lions on the road against Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield will gift them 2 pick sixes. I think we can guarantee that.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield. Yeah, give me the Lions. I get it on the road. And honestly, the Bucs as a roster, they're pretty good. But again, you have Baker and Todd Bowles. I think you got an advantage both at the quarterback position and head coach.
Okay.
Give me the Lions.
All right, you got them at 4-2? I got them at 3-3.
Yep, 4-2.
So we're not far off, see? Baltimore on the road. They lost to Baltimore at home.
Mm-hmm.
You first, because I think I'm going to shock you here.
This is an L. And the reason for that is you're on the road, you're going to Baltimore, you're coming off a 2-win streak, at least according to my schedule. The Ravens is that game that I think they can keep up with the Ravens, but defensively, John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, you saw what the Lions did last year. They struggled against quarterbacks that simply are as elusive as Lamar, and I think he's going to cause the Lions' defense problems. Although they upgraded their secondary, and the Ravens' wide receiver core isn't the most impressive, I think they find a way to get this done. I'm going to give the slight edge to the Ravens here. I think they beat the Lions at home.
To me, this is a grow-up game. To me, this is where you become a man. I think boys become men. You know, that saying, I think this is the game. I think the Lions win this game. And the reason why I think they win this game is I'm not too concerned with what the Ravens can do in the air. They have a rookie wide receiver, and Odell Beckham, who by week 7 will not be healthy. All the data in the world suggests that he probably won't be available. Mm-hmm. And even if he is, I'm still not concerned. This, to me, is wake the fuck up and show everybody that you're for real. To me, I think it's week 7. You're on a 2-game win streak. I think the Lions win this game in Baltimore. So by then they would have been 4-3.
Yep, I'm 4-3 according.
So you're 4-3 with a loss. I'm 4-3 with a win. And then Vegas, I think we both agree. Monday Night Football. This is probably one of the easier wins of the season. Should be at least.
Yeah, you take care of them at home.
You get to the bye week. They're 5-3. We both agree they're 5-3 heading into the bye week.
Yep, 5-3.
See, we got there different ways, but damn it, we're on the same page so far. You come out of the bye week 2 weeks to prepare for Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers. Now, if the Chargers are rolling, tricky game. If Brandon Staley is fired by week 7, week 8 because they come off and start 1-6 or 2-5, which is very possible given they're in the AFC, I see the Lions being favored by week 10 in this game.
And this is,
I don't think they have home field advantage in LA.
And J-Mo's back at this point.
J-Mo is... I'm not really considering J-Mo really for most of the season.
He would have been back at least by, what, the Raiders?
Yeah, he had zero impact in any wins this season to me. Like, I'm not looking at Jameson Williams as the key to the Lions winning 10, 11, 12 games.
I think he helps.
He helps. He's not the key. He's not. He has to prove that he can be a key contributor before I even give him any face value. He's proven nothing in the NFL. But anyways... LA Chargers, you got them winning, losing?
I got them winning. This one was tough, again, because the Brandon Staley thing, I don't know what direction he's going this year. The Chargers start off rough. I mean, Brandon Staley's on the hot seat right away. But after a bye week, I trust the Lions coaching staff with 2 weeks to prepare than I do the Chargers coaching staff. I just do. Again, you're going out to LA to play. Jared Goff's comfortable playing out in LA. I know Herbert. I feel like this game could be a higher scoring game as well. But give me the Lions. I think they take care of the Chargers.
So what's your record now? 6-3?
Yep, they are 6-3.
I'm going to agree. I think they beat the Chargers on the road. I think they should be favorites by then going in, given I don't expect the Chargers to live up to expectations. I do think this is the year Brandon Staley does get fired, barring a miraculous turnaround. They showed some glimpses last year, but it's tough to come over a 27-0 lead, blow it, and then show up the next year and think like you're legit. That's a tough pill to swallow. Week 11, this is where we get to the divisional games, and to me the Lions aren't going to lose for quite some time.
Yep.
For quite some time. They may be, what do we have them both at? 5-3 right now or 6-3?
6-3.
All right. They're 7-3 now. I think they beat Chicago at home easily. To me, this is, again, I never want to say easily, but looking at the game, looking at the team, I have the Lions rolling at this point. Give me the Lions over the Bears, week 11.
Yeah, it's at home. I got the Lions. The Bears, how they looked last year, I know the Lions snuck away with that win on the road, 31-30, but you saw that game at Ford Field. Absolutely obliterated the Bears, and they did get better. They added, especially pieces defensively. They added DJ Moore. I think the Bears got better. They added a left tackle. But regardless, I'm going to go with the Lions here. They just haven't shown me. The Bears still got to prove it. Give me the Lions until proven otherwise.
All right, we got them at 7-3. I got them on a 6-game winning streak because they start the year 1-3. I got them winning 6 in a row, and it'll be 7 in a row after they beat Green Bay at home, which I said earlier I think they would split. Give me the Lions at home against Green Bay.
I'm going to say win here, too. And for people that are saying, why can't you sweep Jordan Love? Well, guys, in the NFL, things happen when you're predicted to win a game, but sometimes you don't win that game. That's how the NFL works. That's why everyone says any given Sunday. Just because you're supposed to beat a team on paper doesn't mean it's always going to happen. I have the Lions splitting with the Packers. I think the Lions are significantly better than the Packers. It doesn't mean they can't win a game, guys.
So you got them at 8-3.
We got to use our head here, and I'm going to go with the Packers. The Lions. I think they take care of the Packers.
So we're both at 8-3 right now.
8-3 right now.
So it's 8-3. You're going into Week 13 of the NFL season. I think the Kool-Aid is absolutely at its highest point.
We're sipping it.
You're the clear favorite to win the division, and then you lose. I think you lose to the New Orleans Saints on the road. I think their defense is a problem. Derek Carr, I expect them to be at least a competent offense compared to what they were last year. Give me the Saints to beat the Lions at home.
I'm going to be honest with you. Give me the Lions here.
Okay.
They go to the Saints. They beat they go to the Saints. Yes, they beat the Saints. I think there's some motivational factors in here that isn't just beating the Saints. I think Dan Campbell going back to New Orleans. You got AG going back. Again, I think there's going to be some motivation here. And again, the Saints, to me, they could go either way. I think they'll be better with Derek Carr, but better than the Lions, I don't think so. Give me the Lions here. They beat the Saints on the road.
All right, you got them at 9-3. I got them at 8-4. Jeff, the Chicago Bears on the road. What do you got here? Chicago,
I'm going to go with the Lions. I think they sweep the Bears. I do. I have nothing with the Bears to guarantee me they're going to be better enough to at least split with the Lions. I think the Packers as a roster is better. Maybe Jordan Love you have questions about, but the Bears still as a roster, they still got holes, regardless of how much money they spent. Again, not sold on Fields. I think the Lions sweep them this year. So give me the Lions even on the road.
All right, you got them at 9-3. I got them at 8-4 so far.
Yep.
Chicago on the road. Chicago on the road. Excuse me, I have them at 7-4. What am I saying?
You get the brothers. You get the Sewell brothers playing. You get the St. Brown
Chicago
brothers
on the road
playing.
is tricky. Chicago had a double-digit lead last year before they blew it and Justin Fields threw away the game.
Jeff
I think
Okudah with a
Chicago
pick
on the
six.
road is a problem. It's later on in the year. It's cold weather. It falls right into the hands of what Chicago likes to do. I think the Lions should go 5-1 in the division.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give the small edge to the Lions here. Give me the Lions to win this game. Week 15, Broncos. What do you got?
This one I have an
What's
L.
your record so far, by the way?
So far, let me see. I have the total record. I haven't been keeping track of it.
Give me the current one right now.
Where they
I
stand.
believe you're 9-4.
Yeah, at this point,
Or are you
I have
10-3?
3 losses. At this
So
point,
you're 10-3 right now.
Or excuse me, 4 losses. Four losses.
You're 9-4.
Yep, 9-4 right now. And again, that's improvement. So whatever you guys want to think, it's still impressive. Broncos, though, I do have them losing. Just because, again, Sean Payton, for me to sit here and say, oh, we're going to take care of the Broncos would be naive.
I got them at 9-4 as well.
It would be naive. Give me the Broncos, but they
so 9-5 now.
I don't think the Lions, I think they'll be really good at home, but I don't think they'll be undefeated at home. And the only team that I guess I picked out would be the Broncos.
So you got them at 9-5?
Yes.
Okay, I would agree. I look, if the Broncos are what I think they're going to be with Sean Payton, this is a loss. If they're not and they struggle, I think the Lions can win it. To me, it's a toss-up 50-50, but I'm going to give the advantage to the more proven coach, Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, what they got going on there. They addressed the offensive line in free agency. I think Denver will be a problem. We won't know it so later on in the season, but I'm going to agree. I have the Lions at 9-5 after this game. And then you got 3 games left on the year, Jeff. Minnesota on the road, Dallas on the road, and Minnesota at home. I'm going to finish off, and then you finish off your last 3. We both got them at 9-5 here. 3 games left on the year. We're both at 9-5. We got there different ways, but we're both at 9-5. I think they sweep the Vikings and lose to Dallas. And they finish the season 11-6. That's going to be my call. I think they win both games against the Vikings. I think they lose a stupid game in Dallas. And they go 11-6. Jeff, what do you think?
So this one's tough because I think they split with the Vikings
they beat the Cowboys.
Yeah,
that's a statement of intent. I like it
because again, that environment facing the Cowboys late in the season, it's similar. Not the same team because the Cowboys are better than the Packers, but that's going to be a game. Some of the best NFC teams facing each other, playoff expectations. I love that game. I think the Lions show up even on the road, so that puts them at 11-6. That's my record. So.
We agree. We got there in different ways.
Yeah.
I had them beating teams and losing to teams you didn't. But overall, we got to the same path, 11-6, and I think that's more than enough. I think 2 or 3 more games than enough to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if you ask me what I think the Vikings will be, I think they'll be dead last. I think the Packers will likely be 3rd, and give me the Chicago Bears to finish 2nd in the division, probably at 8-9, 7-10 at worst.
And that's one of those takes that I can't wait to revisit because we disagree there. I think the Vikings will get they won 13 last year. They're capped out. I think they'll win 9 games, but you think they'll be the last in the division.
You see the problem with that take is, and it's
because I think their floor
I
is
think
8,
you're
9
looking
games.
at the 13 too much.
No.
See, to me, Hear me out.
Okay.
They won 11 games last year, 11-0 in 1 possession games. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. If they were to play those 11 1-possession games again last year, you recycled it, and they did it again. Give me their best case scenario record.
Maybe a little over half.
So 7-4.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 less wins. So they're a 9-win team based on that. And they regressed. This is a 9-win football team last year, in my opinion.
Yes, but
they got 13. But they're really a 9-win team, and they didn't get any better. To me, the Vikings are going to have a really bad season.
And I think that's where we disagree because you say they didn't get any better.
They just hired Brian Flores.
Well, they got.
What does that mean?
I'll go through it. Brian Flores, Jordan Addison, I think right away will be more productive than Adam Thielen. They added Marcus Davenport, by the way, came off a rough season last season. He's kind of injured. But before that, Marcus Davenport's a 9-sack-a-year guy, and they just added him. The Vikings, to me, did get better. They added the corner out of Arizona. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they added to their defense. I think the Vikings, their floor is 9 wins. We can disagree, though.
I don't think they've done enough. Absolutely
it's okay.
not.
We can disagree.
Fair enough.
I think they're better than the Bears.
11-6, we agree on.
Yes, 11-6. By the way, which people
give me the floor. Give me the floor.
10-7.
So we agree there.
Double-digit wins.
Why do we agree on this? I hate you. I love you though.
Well, you know what's funny? People will still be upset that they're winning 11 games. That's all.
Floor 10. Prediction is 11. We both agree.
Yes, and that's great.
Ceiling. Do you see them winning 13? I don't.
No.
Give me 12 as the ceiling.
Yeah,
I think that would be
13.
They win in Baltimore and they win against Seattle and they beat Denver. Then I can see 12 wins.
And by the way, just to look at 13 wins, I mean, to find 2 of these maybe, but no, I'd say 12. I think
12 is the ceiling.
To convince me 2 of these L's could be wins, it's tough.
I think to
can
win
see
13,
1.
14 games, you need a mix of luck, which you saw the Vikings have a shit ton of last year.
Yeah, and the Eagles.
And you also need that guy at quarterback. Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. You don't have that, right? And yeah, you can look at the Niners and say, well, they won all those games. Well, yeah, but they have Kyle Shanahan and arguably the greatest roster we've seen assembled in the last 10, 15, 20 years. It's kind of ridiculous, okay? So there are exceptions to this. But that's the line schedule. We'll be right back. When we get back, we'll take callers, and we'll continue on with the show. But before we go, I got to tell you about my good friends over at Cousins Maine Lobster. Scan the QR code or visit them at cousinsmainelobster.com. Check them out. Try their lobster tacos. Find out where the food trucks are. Again, the lobster tacos, clam chowder soup, and the side of tots are my go-to personal favorite. You'll thank me later. Enjoy them. We'll be right back with some more Lions talk and callers.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
All right, we're back. 9:23. Adham, Beydoun, Jeff Iafrate, the Morning Woodward Show, live, woodwardsports.com. If you missed the show live, you can always go back after the fact. Download the podcast. You'll thank us later. Leave a 5-star review for Jeff and his sexy ass hair. JB, we got callers. Let's start with them. But before we do, I had 11-6 and a different path than Jeff's 11-6. I want to hear JB's floor, his ceiling, your record prediction.
Let's go, JB.
Floor, absolute floor, 10-7. Ceiling,
Smart man.
Ceiling, which I'm absolutely sipping and drinking the Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid, 12-5.
No, JB, we agree.
12-5.
Smart man.
12-5. Is that fair enough to say?
It's a great year.
That's an amazing season for the Lions. 12-5. Like, I don't think we could ask for anything more out of this team. 12-5. Like, please, come on.
Let me hear you, because we've disagreed in the past about the Bears. Because you're higher on the Bears. You like what the Bears can at least be, and not 10-win team, but you think they'll be much improved. What do they do in the division, JB? Who are they splitting? Tell me who they're splitting, who they're sweeping. What's going on?
I feel like even though I'm high on the Bears and they will improve, I still think the Lions will get the win. I think they split Green Bay, as you say.
Oh, smart man.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up, Jeff.
I think they split Green Bay just because, like you said, Lambeau is a very tough place to play. Even though, we beat up Aaron Rodgers last time, it is still a tough place to play regardless. So they split Green Bay.
I think that's fair. 10 is the floor, 12 is the ceiling. Again, doesn't mean they can't win 13, but 10 to 12
13 is pushing it. 13 is pushing it.
I mean, we're all that show on Monday.
Yeah, I can't see 13.
Exciting.
I just can't. They're not mature enough. Like, you have to go do it. To convince me, one, you have to go do it, which is not the case because it's not football season, so they can't do anything right now. But you got to have, like, either the special quarterback and the special coach and a special roster, and I don't think you have special yet. I think you can get there. I think you have pieces that can be special, but you're not special yet. Last year, how high were you on the Eagles? You loved them going into the year.
Yes, I did.
Had they proven anything?
I mean...
You had them winning 12 games before the season started.
Yeah, I did.
They won 13. You have the Lions winning 11? They could win 12. They have to go out and do it, though.
Right.
No one expected the Eagles, maybe outside of you and some other people, to go to the Super Bowl, but you expected them to be a lot better, and I think that's what we're thinking with the Lions. Could they make a Super Bowl run? I really doubt it. Like, I think you got to take a progressional step. I don't think it's that easy. It's just get into the Super Bowl, go win the division, win a playoff game, and then we can start talking about, can they go do this? Can they win on the road here? Can they host a playoff game in the divisional round? Are they good enough to win in the regular season? And we could do all that stuff. But, JB, let's go to the callers. Who do we got?
All right, I will send you guys Kyle first.
All right, Kyle, you're on the morning show. What do you got for us, buddy?
What's up, guys?
How are you?
You hear me?
Yep.
Good,
You're loud and clear.
Lions fan for 32 years now.
Awesome.
This is the most excited I think I've ever been. Like, most optimistic, most excited. I think we lose 5.
Okay.
I live in Omaha. I live in Omaha, Nebraska, so it's 2 hours from Kansas City, and I will be there. And I wouldn't be surprised if we go in and shock them, to be honest with you. I'm trying not to drink too much Kool-Aid, but, man.
Can you tell me why, though? I would love to hear from you why you think they can go in and beat the Chiefs.
Because the Chiefs' defense is never really that good. It's the offense, I think, that carries them. But I think we can go in there with our offense and score, 28, 31 points. I think it'll be a shootout. I'm not saying we will win, but a win wouldn't shock me.
Oh,
Make sense?
I'm with you there. Especially, I mean, to your point, Kyle, they got Chris Jones, but you'd assume with this offensive line, to some extent, they can contain Chris Jones. And that secondary is still young. So, I mean, I think there's definitely a chance. I'm not saying they can't win, but to your point, if they win, will we be shocked? I don't think so.
No, and I think if we control the clock with our run game, with that line we have,
right,
with the two backs we have with Montgomery and with Gibbs. I mean, you use him like Kamara is used. I mean, he can be used two ways. I'm so excited. I'm not saying we're going to win. I think it'll be tougher than people think it will be.
Absolutely.
I think we win in Lambeau. I think we win in Lambeau. I think we lose. Ravens will be tough. I think we beat Dallas. That's so tough. I think the Chargers are tough. I think we lose maybe one at home. I don't think we have a problem with. I love getting Seattle at home after them not letting us in the playoffs. I love getting them right away. I think we smack them out. So I think we lose 5. But this is the most optimistic I've ever been, and I can't come fast enough, man.
I love it. Appreciate the call, Kyle. Well done. You're welcome back anytime. Hope you enjoy the game in Kansas City.
Represent Detroit, Kyle.
Enjoy the rest of the season, buddy.
Oh, all right, brothers.
Take care. I love the attitude, though. Yeah, I'm sure most people will chalk it up as an L against Kansas City, but I don't think anybody can say Kansas City will blow them out. I don't think anybody will put their chest out and say that. I think the Lions are going to pose problems. I do, and no, I'm not concerned about the Jameson Williams suspension because they did everything they did last year without him. And he barely got any snaps. And
that
he
was,
had one
by
catch.
the way, that was without Chark for some of those games, too.
So, yeah, you know what? You guys can shit on Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, but it works with Goff and Ben Johnson. You can shit on the Laporta or Gibbs pick, but they will work under Ben Johnson. They're going to find ways to move the ball and score points. I have no doubts about it. I have no doubts. We do have to take a quick sudden break. When we get back, I do want to continue with the callers, and then at 9:41, I do want to talk about tonight's game and what happened last night. Kevin Durant, keep telling me about Steph Curry, Flannel Sam being the luckiest superstar of all time. You want to talk about a punk bitch not being able to go anywhere and just going to good teams. Must be nice. Go to Phoenix, Devin Booker, in the finals just over 2 years ago. Get knocked out 6 games. With the real best player in the NBA right now, which is Nikola Jokic. I love it. I can't wait to have that conversation in about 15 minutes. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Whew. I love this show. There's nothing I'd rather be doing right now than hanging out with all of you and talking with Jeff and JB. 9:31. We got callers on the line. JB, let's keep them rolling. Who do we got?
All right, Jeff, I'm going to send you your buddy.
Oh, I'm off.
It's Terrell from FL.
Terrell from FL.
Oh, I love my introduction.
Welcome to the show,
Jeff.
my man. What do you want to discuss? What do you got? What are you coming after me for today? What's going on?
Jeff. Actually, Jeff, you can relax for a minute. I'll be back with you in a hot minute, okay? I need to talk to Adam for a second, because Adam is on some bullshit this morning, bro. Like, 1 in 3, Adam? 1 in 3? 1 in 3?
I haven't winning 11 games.
If the Lions start off...
Suck my dick.
Bro, if the Lions start off... Look, if the Lions start off 1 in 3, I'm going to fly up there and sit next to you for a whole show and hold your balls for you, okay? You don't have to do nothing.
Why can't we do that privately?
Okay?
I don't want people to know
Are
I
you
like that kind of shit.
Bro? And you are on one. Let me explain something to you guys real quick. It's weird to me, like, the thing about me is I don't remember shit that you guys said from fucking like a year ago. And last year at this time, you guys went through the schedule and played who has the better quarterback, because most of the time the teams that have the better quarterback win. We all agree on that. And now you guys are going through the schedule and you guys are giving cred to these young-ass quarterbacks that ain't done shit. What has Jordan Love done? Nothing. What has Justin Fields done? Nothing. What has Desmond Ridder done? Not a fucking thing. I don't care if Barry Sanders is out there with Desmond Ridder. That doesn't mean they can beat us.
Terrell, we
Go
said...
ahead, I hear you want to say something. Go ahead,
I'm going to let you finish. I just want to say this to your point you just made. Last year, I could have said Geno didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold didn't do anything. What happened in those games?
Geno Smith is still an established quarterback in the league. They're not rookies that have never done anything.
Geno before last year was a backup.
I know, but he was still a vet. He wasn't a brand new dude in the league. I'm not saying
Sam Darnold is a bust.
I'll interrupt here. I'll bring some reason here. I'll bring some reason here. Okay, look, if you want to go through the schedule, which I think is fair, and compare the quarterbacks, the Lions probably win 12 of those 17 matchups. I think that's fair. Just off the top of my head, I don't want to do it right now. But to that point, and to Jeff's point, I don't think the game in Lambeau, he has it as a win. I have it. No, you have it as a loss as well.
Yeah, they split with the Packers.
So I do too. I think that's a tricky game. It's a short week. I do believe you have to give some respect to road games, especially in Lambeau early on in the year. I don't think the Packers are going to be as shit that early on in the year as they probably will the second time you play them around. So maybe they'll have some confidence. I still think Matt LaFleur is a decent coach. So look, I'm not going to get caught up on which games they win and lose. All I know is the end result is they're 11-6 and they win their first division since 1993.
What about you, Terrell? What's your record prediction? Let's hear it.
I understand your logic, but this is the thing that I think a lot of people are missing. And I understand that you guys are exercising your Lions PTSD out there, but guys, our offense is going to be fucking crazy, bro. And our defense is going to go from the bottom up into the 15 range. When you have Jamison Williams and David Montgomery out there on the field, you guys are not understanding how much pressure we're going to be able to put on a defense. They're never going to be able to bring a safety down into the box to stop our run game. They're never going to be able to bring a safety down to double the fucking sun god because Jamison will run them out of the fucking building.
I love it.
It's going to open up everything. And then you got Laporta out there too, and you got Jahmyr Gibbs out there too. Bro, we might push the scoring record for the league this year. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. We're going 14-3 or 13-4.
Oh my goodness!
The only games that I have us fucking losing, we're gonna start off 5-1. Then, of course, Jeff is gonna pick us to lose to Lamar Jackson co-ass. Bro, like Lamar Jackson has just as much to prove as anybody in the league. He ain't done shit for the last 2 years, and then he just got $50 million. Boy, come on and show me something. Show me who you are, Lamar Jackson. I ain't giving him no credit until he comes out and shows me. Then I have a toss-up between the Raiders and San Diego. I think we'll lose one of those. And I have a toss-up between the Saints and the Cowboys. I think we'll lose one of those. I am not worried about the Broncos, bro. Their head coach cannot make their team unhate Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson lost all credibility with me last year. He treated his team like shit. They are not just going to magically start liking Russell Wilson. I am not worried about the Broncos. 14-3, 13-4, as long as we stay healthy.
I mean...
Wait, what was the record?
13-4.
14-3 or 13-4, as long as we stay healthy and there's no rash of injuries.
Okay, so Terrell, do you think that's enough wins to win the NFC?
I think so.
So Terrell's saying the Lions are winning the NFC this year?
No, I think he's saying that they're going to have a really good record.
If we go 14-3, then
put your balls on the table, Terrell.
14-3, then yes. I think San Francisco probably going to win 13.
So, but okay,
I think 13 is enough this year to win the NFC.
All I'm saying, Terrell, put your balls on the table. Are they winning the NFC next year?
I agree with Adam, though. I think the Eagles regress, and I think the 49ers are even, so it depends on their quarterback situation.
Okay,
I'm not scared of the Eagles,
he's
bro.
saying there's a chance, and I would agree with Terrell that given what's going to happen around the league, I think 13 games, if somehow they do win, which I don't agree. I don't think they can win 13, but if they do, in some multiverse theory, that's probably good enough to have the number 1 seed in the NFC this year.
So,
I would agree, but Terrell, I got to let you go, buddy. Great call. Appreciate you calling in as always. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Appreciate you, Terrell. You're a legend.
Have a good day, fella.
You too, buddy. Yep. You know, I read a comment in the chat, Drew Brees, or excuse me, Sean Payton is nothing without Drew Brees. Sean Payton took over a 3-13 football team, brought in an injured, unproven, really erratic quarterback in Drew Brees, and in 2006, in their first year together, in 2006, Drew Brees threw for an unbelievable 4,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Really solid, given that his career high leading up to that was 3,500 yards and 27 touchdowns. He improved, but Sean Payton took over a 3-13 team, and they went 10-6, and then 7-9, 8-8, and then 13-3. Won the Super Bowl in his 4th year. Must be nice. Must be nice. 11-5, 13-3, 11-5, a few 7-9 seasons, and then they rebuilt and went 11 wins, 13-13, 13-12. I think Sean Payton's an elite coach.
He is.
And I think worst case for Denver, they're second in that division. Denver's got a loaded defense. They have a very good roster. If Javonte Williams is healthy, watch out for what that offensive line can do with him. Look.
They still got receivers.
Russell Wilson regressed last year, sure. I don't think his coach, Nathaniel Hackett, did him any favors. I think he was a bum. You're getting Sean Payton. Oh, my God.
And this is the problem I have. You
good.
You don't have a 10 to 12-year stretch in Seattle where he's productive, and then you have one down year with Nathaniel Hackett, and all of a sudden Russell sucks. Like, that's the part I struggle with, is I have too big of a sample size of productivity with Russell Wilson to now have Sean Payton and not believe he can get back to that. But
do you think Sean Payton's a huge influence and deserves a lot of credit for Drew Brees' career now?
And I think even Drew would say
I'm
that.
asking you,
Yes.
do you agree with that?
Yes.
Because I'm getting a lot of no's, given that in San Diego, his combined record was 30-28. He had a 62% completion percentage. He threw 80 touchdowns and 53 interceptions in those 58 starts. So he was throwing an interception a game, basically. And he threw for 209 yards a game only. He got to New Orleans, and of course his illustrious career in New Orleans. He averaged 298 yards a game. He threw 190 touchdowns. He threw, he threw 491 touchdowns and 190 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. And he won 142 games. Not bad. And Sean Payton is a huge reason why he did. Drew Brees was just an average quarterback before he ever stepped foot in New Orleans. And don't talk to me about the San Diego years, because if you want to bring up the 2004 San Diego Chargers and you want to bring up them winning 11 games with Doug Flutie as the backup, you have to talk to me about LaDainian Tomlinson running for 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns. Oh, and should I get to the receiving yards where he caught 400 yards as well?
He's a beast. 2,000
all-purpose yards. Almost 20 touchdowns. Stop it. In a league where, at the time, defense and running won you games. Just stop it, guys. Sean Payton's an elite coach. Denver's lucky to have him. They're going to have a good season. We'll take a break. When we get back, NBA playoff action. Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, arguably the most complete team left in the NBA playoffs, the first team to book a trip to the conference finals, knock out Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and the Phoenix Suns. That was exciting. Game 6 tonight in LA, La La Land. You got the Warriors and the Lakers.
I see the hat, JB.
And I know Flannel Sam.
I see the hat.
Is absolutely shitting himself on the idea that the Lakers don't close out tonight. So we'll get to that next.
We'll be all right.
We'll get to that next. But before we go, I got to talk about my good friends over at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. They're excellent. Stylists will take care of you like they take care of me and my boy Jeff. So get to a Lady Jane's near you. A Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live. We're getting here down the home stretch. Thank you to everybody watching and listening. We appreciate it as always. Adham, Beydoun, Jeff, Iafrate. All right. Easy. We'll not be talking on the Woodward Heavyweights today about James Harden because James Harden didn't have a good game, so he's just going to disregard that and tell you how much he would have gave him a max contract. But thankfully, the 76ers know how to choke, and they sure as hell did when Jason Tatum had arguably his worst game of his career leading into the fourth quarter, where he salvaged somewhat of his legacy, if he even has one this young in his career. So the Celtics won. The Nuggets absolutely went to work on the Phoenix, on the Phoenix Suns. They never gave him a chance, Jeff. Kevin Durant. I keep being told how Kevin Durant was the Lord and Savior of the Golden State Warriors.
No.
Yet he can't get any further than Golden State with a better roster. Whoa. Oh, and Golden State won the championship last year.
Oh, yeah, compare the rosters. Phoenix went into that game, by the way, no Chris Paul, which, again, it is what it is. Chris Paul, at this point in his career, doesn't have as much effect as he used to, but they didn't have DeAndre Ayton too, so there was pretty much KD, Devin, and everybody here on the Morning Woodward Show out there with them. They didn't win, clearly. They got blown out. Denver was a better team. I went with Denver last night and Boston, and we went 2-0, boys. Celtics took care of business. Like you said, Jason Tatum showed up in the fourth quarter. He was big time. And James Harden came to play, everybody. We'll just read his stat line through this series and tell me if this doesn't summarize James Harden in his entire playoff career. Game 1, 45. Woo! Woo! Next game, 12.
Oh.
Next game, 16.
Oh.
Next game, 42. Woo! Next game, 17.
Oh.
The next game, 13.
Oh.
This is James Harden. Like, This is James Harden. He's either 45 or he's 12. And there's not a lot of in between there. So even the Sixers, when they were up, I still think the Celtics can take this series. They haven't been playing well, but they're the better team overall. I'm still confident they could win. But Denver, man, Denver's scary. I think
Denver's the best team, and they have the best player.
Yeah, I would agree.
In the NBA. I think they have the most complete team, and I hope Denver serves as a reminder that you can build around your superstar. And if done right, it's extremely effective. Who's the second super? They don't have a superstar with Jokic. Jamal Murray's a very good player.
Oh, yeah.
You could call him a star player. I know he's dealt with injuries the past few years, but Jamal Murray, I mean, we saw what he did in that Western Conference final, hell, the conference semifinals before he got injured. Unbelievable. Game 7 matchup, I believe it was Utah. But you can build around your superstars.
Mm-hmm.
The Nuggets run through Jokic. He's the best player in the league. He's unbelievable. He's so efficient. I have nothing but great things to say about Jokic. And you know what? If Jokic can deliver and he can dominate for the next 3-4 years, I think he enters a really special conversation. It's still a lot unproven. He's still got to get there, still got to win. But given how he plays, the numbers he's putting up, how important he is, if he can string along two championships in the next 3 years, 2 finals MVPs, you got to put him up there with some of the greatest centers of all time.
Yeah, because now you're talking about him being, it's crazy too, looking back, Jokic was a second-round pick, and what he's done in his career so far, he's a walking triple-double, had a triple-double last night, the best passing big man ever, and then you add in what he's doing offensively. He was 13 of 18 last night from the field, and that's kind of why you look back, he's been taking care of business. Jokic is special. He really is. MVP. He needs a championship. But that's why I think, you still have the best player, at least I think, in the playoffs, in Jokic, how he's playing, in the best overall team, I would say, with the Nuggets. And I like Mike Malone. So the Nuggets, to me, are the favorite. I know tonight, though.
Let's go. Let's do it. Go ahead. Put your balls on the table, bitch.
Well, I don't got to put nothing on the table because what did I say before this?
You said the Lakers in 6.
And tonight, it's going to be time. It's time for the prediction to come to fruition. The Lakers will take care of the Warriors tonight. I think it'll be close. But again, role players, they're going to play better at home. Austin Reeves, even though he didn't have that bad of a game, D'Lo, those guys are going to play better. You need AD. AD not only needs to play, but we need a game 1 AD. We need 30 and 20 from AD. You need a big one out of him, but I think the Lakers can take care of the Warriors tonight because if it goes to game 7, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Take care of the Warriors tonight.
I got bad news for you.
Don't let it go to
State
7
wins tonight because AD's not giving you 30 and 20. Hell, he'll probably give you 17 and 7 tonight, knowing Anthony Davis, and he'll probably exit in the third quarter. God knows. This is the Warriors series. It is. Look, I think we learned a lot in Game 5. I think in Game 5, you got the best version of the Warriors and what they can be.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get 70% of what Wiggins gave me, if I get 50% of what Klay Thompson should be getting me, and if Draymond gives me 20% of what he gave me in Game 5, the Warriors are winning the series in 7.
Oh, that sounds great, but listen, LeBron.
Steph just needs a little bit of help.
He does.
A little bit of help.
Steph and Klay, too, when they're on, and they're a problem. It's not just Steph and Klay, though. Draymond and Andrew Wiggins.
Sucked. Poole has sucked. Showed up. Wiggins has sucked. They all have sucked all series long. It's been a Steph series. They finally showed up in Game 5.
It's a problem.
If I get 50% of the play they got from Game 5, I think they can win in L.A. Klay Thompson has to step up. He's Game 6 Klay. I want to see it again tonight. I'm rooting for the Warriors. Give me the Warriors tonight, and you're going to go home crying.
LeBron? Don't let it go to Game 7. Because, listen, we know what you did in the finals on the biggest stage in NBA, right? Coming back down 3-1. I swear, for your legacy,
I'll bet my hair on it.
I don't have a problem defending LeBron, but it's going to be hard to defend him if you throw a 3-1 lead, LeBron. Even to the Warriors. Selfishly...
Karma.
Yeah, talk about karma. Selfishly, I want to see another game, so if it goes to Game 7, so be it. As a fan, I'll love it. But if you're rooting for the Lakers and you're picking the Lakers, and I'm not saying I'm a Lakers fan, but I'm picking them to win.
Get some help.
Lakers fans will be nervous.
Give me the Lakers.
Game 7. Whew.
Give me the Lakers to lose this game. I think they lose a close game. Give me the final score, a 108-103. Golden State walks off.
Give me the Lakers. LeBron has a big game tonight. AD has a big game. They take care of the dubs.
We'll take a break. When we get back, We'll do mailbag. So everybody start dropping your questions in the chat. Jeff and I will answer them shortly. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Well, we talk about defense and how the Lions have improved their defense. Will be much improved this year. But what about a defense that is always improving and is always consistent? That's Guardian Alarm. Contact them. They got customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's not only been proven to work, but by people that have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Welcome back to the luckiest show here on the Woodward Sports Network, live. WoodwardSports.com. Adam Beydoun, Jeff Iafrate, Jeremy Bryan, Alex Westphal, Matt Broder in the building today. Missing Gabby. Gabby will be back Monday. Can't wait to have her back. She's in New York, probably partying her ass off at the moment, so lucky her. But it's mailbag time. Let's get to some questions. We'll start with Big Con 51. Are we kind of wanting the Chargers to have a decent year so they don't try to lure Ben away?
I think Ben
leaves
away.
Either way.
Yeah.
We talked about it. Even if they win 12 games this year, even if they win a playoff game, yeah. If he was a defensive coordinator and he had a top 10 defense, like, he could keep him another year. Mm-hmm. But typically the offensive coordinators don't stay another year. The defensive ones do. DeMeco Ryans, Robert Sala, but yeah, Ben Johnson's leaving.
It's
man.
not if, it's when.
Ben Johnson's leaving. It's unfortunate, but hopefully they make the most of it while he's here.
Jesse asked Mailbag, what do you think about these hot takes? The tight end room will have a total of 15 touchdowns. James Mitchell will have 6 of them. Hutch will have 14.5 sacks. Yes, I may have been a tad high.
I'm going to disagree on the James Mitchell number, but I can totally buy into Hutch getting 14.5 sacks. I think he's that level of player.
Gary asks, Mailbag, over-under on J-Mo's touchdown in yards, factoring in only 11 games.
600 yards,
yeah,
3
in
touchdowns.
That stretch of games, I would see.
600 yards, 3 touchdowns, and you know what? To be honest with you, I bet he shows some late burst. But if they're not happy with him, I think they'll try to move on from him.
Really?
Yeah.
Move on from him?
I think if he doesn't get his shit together, again, I'm not saying they should trade him. So everyone chill the fuck out. But I'm telling you, if he plays well down the stretch, and he's not giving them the reinforcement that they need and assurances they need, it wouldn't shock me if they started to shop him in the offseason.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think there'll be more questions. There'll be questions.
I'm just saying, if he's not getting his act together, typically with receivers, we're more lenient and accepting of it. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. I have high hopes for Jameson Williams. I still think he could be an excellent player. But he's going to have to come out after that suspension, guns blazing. I want to see him get 6-7 targets a game, and I want to see him use that speed.
And by the way, Bob Johnson, great point. Even if Ben leaves, we got our next OC passing coordinator. It's actually Tanner Engstrand, which, again, I'm high on. We talked a lot about him. I think he's a stud, too. So if Ben leaves, good organizations have backup plans.
I think Dan
the
Campbell
Lions will.
takes over play calling when Ben Johnson leaves. I do. If they win 11 games this year, Ben Johnson walks, takes a job somewhere, I say Dan Campbell takes over.
I don't think
he has it in him.
I don't think people would hate that.
I think he's an enabler. I think we massively, grossly underrate his understanding of the offensive side of the game. I think you saw day one when he took over for Anthony Lynn. So yes, I think Ben Johnson is special. I think Dan Campbell has a hand in it. It wouldn't shock me one bit if Dan Campbell took over play calling.
Hoof Hearted says, mailbag, what do you guys think Fish is up to right now?
Probably doing cocaine. I don't know. Mailbag says Noah, is it crazy for the Lions to talk Super Bowl if they beat the Chiefs? I think that's inevitable.
Yeah.
If they beat the Chiefs, I think Super Bowl talk is going to be the featured headline all around town on the Monday morning. But look, I'm a simple man. Go win the division. Go host a playoff game. Win a playoff game. Get to the divisional round. Compete. And if you can win that game, get to an NFC championship, and I'm happy.
I'm
not going to throw Super Bowl expectations on a franchise that's won one playoff game in 60 years.
Bringing Funny, he asked mailbag, which Lions secondary player will have the most impact on defense this season?
No, Gardner Johnson.
Yeah. Or I know I'll go different. I'll say Cam Sutton.
You know why?
Because that's your number one corner. But
I would agree. Any other day I would agree except today because of the schedule. Gardner Johnson, I think Travis Kelce. Gardner Johnson, I think Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Gardner Johnson, I think Mark Andrews. Keenan Allen, I think the best wide receiver. I mean, Hawkinson. Yeah, okay. I just think there are certain games, especially like Kansas City, Baltimore, where he's going to have high value, high impact. And I think it's only going to make Sutton look even better. I think Sutton's going to be one of the 15 best corners this year, and I don't think that's saying much. I think that's a fair expectation. He's a baller. He's a baller. What's next?
Let's see. I was reading the Broder cover Jeff in a fly route. Listen, Broder's tall, man. He is, and he played baseball. All right. Vincenzo, mailbag, who's your number one pick in fantasy this year? Ooh, I like that. Number one pick in fantasy this year.
It's got to be CMC.
I'm going to be honest.
How does he not go number one?
At least you have an argument.
There's no quarterback. He's going to get 70 catches and a ton of carries.
And I know Jonathan Taylor was injured, but Anthony Richardson, if he starts,
Jonathan Taylor's a nice option,
they're going to run the hell out of the ball.
Yeah, I think that's 1 and 2. I don't know who else could be on top of him. Jahmyr Gibbs, probably a late second, early third round pick, maybe.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think somebody would reach in the second for Jahmyr. I would say third round is I don't think he goes anything past the third round. Jahmyr Gibbs is definitely going to be a top pick in fantasy.
Are we at the point where Patrick Mahomes could be a number one?
For idiots like Flannel Sam that take him in the first round, yeah.
He took him. Well, he didn't take him in the. He took him at like
third, fourth overall.
Yeah, it wasn't just in the first round.
He did make the playoffs, to be fair to him, though.
And what happened?
But there was the eventual champion. We don't talk about this.
The Morning Woodward Show. We live in the
3 years defending. Just repeat here on the show. But it's not like we do anything special.
Albert, mailbag. Can we agree that this year is going to be one of our best ever years?
Oh, absolutely. They're going to win the division.
Yeah,
and they should.
Yeah,
and they should win the division. And you should have that expectation. And you should be excited. You should be happy. There's nothing wrong with that. They've built a good football team. It's on them to deliver, not on you.
Herb Nash, mailbag, could and how many games will coaching and kicking cost us this year?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that because you know what? To be fair to Dan Campbell, he's progressed every year he's been in the league. I think last year you had a lot of frustrating moments with him in the beginning of the year. I want to see that cleaned up. And if he does, I think that 8-2 period that you saw is more of what Dan Campbell can be and is.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because I think he won a lot of people over down the stretch last year. I still can't forget the first-year decisions, even though it was a rebuild year. And really, the second year, that 1-6 start was unacceptable. The games they lost, the way they lost them, the decisions on the road, some of the things he did are unforgivable. But I think this is the year where he puts it all together. I think he can do it. I don't think it's fair to say they're going to win X amount of games or lose them because of the coach and kicker yet, because I got to see it from him. I'm not saying he's polished. I'm not saying he's the best. I actually don't agree with any of that. But I have to give him the benefit of the doubt going into this year, given I think he's got one of the better rosters in the NFC. We just went through the schedule. 11 wins is what you and I agree on. You can like or hate Dan Campbell. I don't care. You can have questions. I think that's fair. I think that's the right way to go about it with Dan. You have questions, and I think this year he can answer them. Whether it makes you right or wrong, he's going to answer those questions this year. Is that fair to say?
Fair. Very fair. Where's this question I want to get to? B. Walt, mailbag, could Gibbs lead the league in rushing?
No.
I don't think he'll even lead the Lions in rushing.
Nope.
I think he could lead them, be up there in scrimmage yards,
he'll be the second.
all-purpose
He'll
yards.
probably be the second leading receiver.
Yeah.
Unless Jameson just goes off for 11 games.
Yeah.
Which
isn't
I
a bad
don't
thing.
expect.
I think David Montgomery will be getting more touches in the run game. I think he'll lead them in rushing. What do we got? Jesse asks, mailbag, is Stick going to have a live show with Pat for the bet or no? Second question, Jeff, are you ready for the early UFC cards this Saturday? Second question, I am. I will be. I'll be chilling, so I'll be tuning in the UFC. But Stick with the Pat McAfee show, that's more next year. I believe Pat's coming to Detroit for the draft, so that's a future endeavor, but maybe, possibly. Let's see.
Mailsack, where the hell is Stick? I don't know. He's working. Leave him alone. Let the guy work. Fuck off. Don't ask stupid questions.
Jack Mailbag Jeff, are you and Sam watching the Lakers game tonight together?
Oh, yeah,
no.
they'll be naked stroking each other's dicks watching LeBron and AD play.
No, absolutely not.
Right, JB? Yo! And then you and I will be doing the same watching the Warriors.
More than likely.
I will be calling Sam, though, if the Lakers win.
Oh, God, you guys are not ready for the tweets I'm going to be sending off tonight if the Lakers don't win.
Just don't at me, please.
I will at you. Don't worry.
Do it. Don't bring me
I'm
into
not like
it.
some of those pussies out on Twitter that just subtweet you. Don't worry.
Don't do
worry.
it.
I'm not a subtweeter. You want to say something, say it to someone's face or at them correctly. Don't be a bitch about it.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Don't talk shit and not at the person. At least give them the acknowledgement since you're already thinking about them all day, every day. But anyways, that's going to be it. We're out of here. I kind of don't want the show to end. I wish I could do another half-hour with all of you. To be honest with you. I wish we could do a 3-hour show. I wouldn't lose sleep over it, honestly. I'd love to do this group, 100%. But we'll continue 2 hours on Monday. We're out of here. You all have a great weekend. Enjoy the games tonight. I hope you enjoyed all the Lions talk, the calling segments, all the schedule talk. You all have a great rest of your day. For Adam, Jeff, Matt, Alex, and Jeremy, we appreciate you guys as always. Gabby will be back Monday. Till Monday, be safe and fuck out of my face.